Hey everyone, so I've just got back from the European Championship. I ended up going 5-3-1, unfortunately, just missing out on making day 2. I was undefeated up until round 7, so I had to draw round 1 and then won all the way up until 7 and then lost the last 3. So we'll quickly go into it and then I'll go over my matchups at the end. So to start it off, we've got 2 Spirit of Yubel and a single copy of Nightmare Pain for it to search. We've got normal Yubel and a copy of Terra Incarnate. Potentially you could play 2 of this. Sometimes it does get stuck under the Rudress. Having a second Nightmare Pain would have also been quite nice throughout the tournament, because there are times where I got Ghost Ogred and I didn't have a way to get another one. For the sort of Yubel adjacent cards, we've got 1 Grave Squirmer, 3 Samsara D-Lotus. Potentially this could go 2-2. Quite often I'd side out a copy of this to have extra space. We've got 3 Nightmare Throne and a copy of Terraforming to search it. Then we've got the Dark Beckoning Beast engine. So we've got the single Chaos Summoning Beast, don't want to draw that one, 2 Dark Beckoning Beast, and 3 Opening the Spirit Gates. Quite often this is one of the more powerful starters in the deck. Yeah. And we've got the sort of very expensive part of the deck. We've got triple Fiendsmith Engraver, 1 Fabled Lurry, and 1 Tract. Not much to say there. It's sort of pretty much every deck that can play it is playing that at the moment. It adds a lot to everything. We've got 1 Unchained Soul of Shafara to search off the Yama. And then we'll go into the non-engine. So we've got 1 Bestial Drillswim, 1 Magnemite, 1 Boldrake, 3 Effect Failers, 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, 3 Infinite Impermanence. So far all pretty standard, and then I decided to go ahead and main 3 Molchami Perulia. I can't really say much on how it performed. I don't think I drew it. I think I drew it 1 game 1, and unfortunately it was Ash that game. So maining it didn't seem to have much of an effect on the outcome of the tournament, because I never really saw it. So I don't really have any data on that, but in theory, it's not terrible. And obviously if I won game 1, then I'd side it out, so I didn't have it, keep it in, sorry, if I won game 1, because I'd be going second. If I lost game 1, then I'd side it out. Then we've got a bit of a mixed approach. We've got, obviously, those hand traps. We've got a little bit of board breaks as well. So we've got 1 Triple Tactics and 3 Forbidden Droplet. Yeah, I decided to just mix it up just on, if you don't draw a hand trap in your opening hand. Sometimes top decking one of these can be the difference between, winning and losing. I went with Droplet because it's not bad going first. Same with the talents really. If you get hand trapped, you can draw 2 more or take a card out of their hand. And Droplet, if you go first, you can always just set it. So it's another line of interaction. Then in the extra deck, we've got the Fiendsmith stuff, the Moon and the Closed Sky. Got to play it obviously. Any 2 monsters ends up being full Fiendsmith combo. The single Requiem, single Sequence. We've got a Muckracker, and Unchained Soul of Yama, and SP Little Knight. And then I decided to go with Nightmare Griffin instead of Appaloosa, basically for 2 reasons. 1, it's a fiend, so I can summon it under Muckracker if I've used that for the turn. Or if I have Unchained Soul with Shivara still on board, I can go into this. Where with Apollosa, sometimes I ended with awkward fields where I couldn't go into it, either because I still had Shivara on board and I wanted to make Wave King Caesar, or because I'd already used Muckraker. The second reason is there happens to be a Light Fiend, so you can shuffle it back to the extra with the Fiendsmith. You can use its fusion material with Sequence. If you still have this in the extra, you can also link it off for that to sort of get out of its lock yourself on your own turn. So yeah, a few good reasons for that. At the end of the day, I think I summoned it once, and it was a board where I'd full comboed. It's probably the only way you really bring it out. I don't think it made the difference between me winning and not winning that game. It was already sort of decided the rest of the board. And we've also got a single Unchained Soul of Rage, just for that interaction on your opponent's turn to go into the SP. For the fusions, we've got 2 Phantom of Yubel, 1 Necro Quick Princess, 1 Aerial Eater, and the Lacrina. Not too much to say there. Obviously, those are sort of needed for the Fiendsmith combos, and that's needed for the engine. The Aerial Eater, this could be Beatrice. Just thinking logically. A lot of the times when you can make this, you could also have made Beatrice, just using the Lacrima. And you'd have the advantage there of being able to send things like floodgates that you could potentially add back with the Nightmare Griffin. I ended up deciding on Aerial Eater for 2 reasons. So it can summon stuff back from grave by banishing 2 level 6 or higher fiends with the same attribute, so you can get an extra body on board later on in the game. And also, sometimes you have to fuse both the Fiendsmith itself and the Requiem engraved, and you don't have a third Light Fiend engraved. So if you go into Lacrina, then you don't have anything to summon back of it. Whereas Aerial Eater sort of gets me to that sending a card from deck to graveyard more consistently. Then we're also running 2 Xyz. So we've got Verrugus and DD Wave King High Caesar. Both are very strong. Verrugus can be a little awkward because you can have your Yubel stuck underneath it, and usually you have Phantom on the field as well. So if you use Phantom, you can still destroy Spirit, because there should probably be one still in the deck, but the Spirit won't be able to summon the Yubel because it's stuck underneath the Verrugus. So potentially you could play 2 Yubel. I don't think it's worth it, but that would solve that problem. Otherwise, yeah, you can always use the Verrugus effect before the Phantom. That does lead to sort of being open to answers, like evenly matched, or sort of even Raigeki, where this is your only interaction with spells, so you sort of want to save it for those. Then in the side deck, we've got 1 copy of Thrust, a Feather Duster, a D-Barrier, and I didn't want to main this, so we've got the Abominable Chamber of the Unchained, just because it's a brick when you're going second, so it's figured I'd put it in the side there, and yeah. I don't think I really missed it throughout the tournament in the main, so I think I'm happy to put it in the side. I've got 3 copies of Evenly Matched. This card performed really well for me the whole tournament. Being able to thrust off it, yeah, very powerful. Blew out a lot of boards. Great against Snake Eyes because it sort of helps clear out a lot of that recursion. and then I went for 3 deck lockdown. I thought about this quite a lot before the tournament, and it seemed like it was quite good against most of the meta, really. Against Tempai, I don't think they should be able to OTK you with that up. It's a lot it stops because they can't summon from deck and they can't search. I don't think they can OTK. I'd be surprised if they could. Against Snake Eyes, can't do a lot there. Fiendsmith also can't do a lot, so it locks them all down. Yubel, you can't summon the Yubels from deck, so you'd have to have them either in hand or in grave already. So it helps there as well. We got the 1 anti-spell fragrance. Not much to say there. You go first, side this in, flip it up, and they don't get to use any spells. So if they've got like Dark Ruler no more or something, suddenly it's not helpful with breaking your board. So just sort of insurance policy against your board, really. We went 2 Dino Res the Pankratops. I think I summoned it once the whole tournament. It did perform quite well though, just being able to put a bit of pressure on. Being able to, pop floodgates as well. It didn't happen to me, but yeah, I don't think I got floodgated outside of the Runic Stun matchup, and I didn't see this in that game, so it didn't really come up, but just being able to summon it and, quick fit pop something, very handy. And the final 2 cards, 2 Grief Photon. I didn't side this in the entire tournament, because I didn't play against Tempai or against Gimmick Puppet FTK. The reason I went with this over Dogwood was mainly just because it's Light Fiend, so I can search it with Sanct, and if I happen to sort of have a bit of a bricky hand but I have this in it, I can normal summon it and still go, full Fiendsmith combo and end on some sort of board, hopefully. Yeah, that's the sort of whole deck profile there. I'll go over my matchups now. So round 1 was against Snake Eyes Fiendsmith. So I lost game 1, won game 2, and then we, in time, both were on 6,800 from the Creamer burn. So opponent had turn, I had turn, we both did the 1,200 burn damage. Round 2 was the mirror match against Yubel. So I lost game 1, and I won game 2 and 3. Round 3 was against Voiceless Voice. That was a 2-0, so I won that one. Round 4 was against Runic Stun. So I won game 1, and game 2 I won in time. Only just though, it came down to judge's decision. So what happened was I had no cards left in deck. My opponent proceeded to the end phase, and then the round timer went off. Luckily, the judge decided, because my opponent had the runic that gains 1,000 life points on board, and he hadn't activated it, then we couldn't have proceeded to my draw phase. So, thankfully, for once, the time rules favored me, rather than sort of, being stuck knocking out into your battle phase. So, that was very lucky. Otherwise, that would have been a draw. Round 5 was against Snake Eyes Fiendsmith. That was a 2-0 for me. Round 6, again against Snake Eyes Fiendsmith, and another 2-0. Round 7, so this was the first round I lost, and unfortunately, round 6 was the last round I won for the day. That was against Yubel. I won game 1, and then proceeded to lose 2 and 3. So that was a bit unfortunate. Round 8 was against Snake Eyes Fiendsmith, and that was a 2-0 loss, unfortunately. And then the final round for the day, this was the one that was the most pressure on, as I had to win it if I wanted to make day 2. That was against Ritual Beast, and we didn't get out of game 1. I lost it in time, unfortunately. I got stuck behind a Protoss, a Colossus. Yeah, there was a point where I could have won if I was sort of being a bit poor sport, I suppose. So I had Phantom Pain up, and I had Spirit of Yubel in hand. My opponent was going to attack me for game. So they enter battle phase. I summon the Spirit of Yubel when they attack, which obviously all their monsters would have had to attack into it, doing enough damage for them to lose. But my opponent seemed to think that I had told them that I needed a Yubel monster on board to use Spirit. And it was the end of the day, rather than sort of having to call a judge, and basically there would be a bit of an argument of who said what, and there's no proof for either of us, I decided, look, you can go back into your main phase, and he makes the ulti Gyra Paleo, and is able to negate the Spirit, and then again negate the Yubel that the Spirit, well, the Yubel Spirit engrave. So I took a bit of, well, I didn't win there when I should have. Yeah, and that was the last round of the day. Overall, I think the deck was extremely powerful. I only picked it up about 4 days before the event, so I had to learn all the combos. There were certainly probably points where I could have won games if I played a little bit better, but at the end of the day, it performed very well, and I had a great time at the tournament. So yeah, thanks for watching, and if you've got any questions about the build or choices I made, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, everyone.